All right, we'll take a couple minutes to let everybody log in and wait for everybody to get into the webinar, and then we can start here in a couple minutes. There's a couple more attendees logging in, so we'll give it a couple minutes and we'll be starting our presentation here soon. All right, we'll give everybody about one more minute and we'll be able to start the presentation. All right, so it looks like we're going to get started. My name is Brianne. I'm filling in today for Emma Jane. She's normally our webinar host. Welcome to Builder Partnerships Webinar Wednesday. Today our webinar is helping you navigate innovation, quality and trends in kitchen, bath, and home lighting. Our presenters today are Senior Trade Channel Marketing Manager from Delta, Kristen Baum, and our Project Manager from Kichler, Eric Wendling. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping items. Although all of you are on mute, we still encourage you to ask questions. At the bottom of your screen, there is a Q&A bubble or a chat function. If possible, we will get to the questions as they come up, but likely we'll reserve them until the end of the presentation. If you're watching this on replay, feel free to send us an email and we'll get back to you as quickly as possible. I'm going to be handing it over to Rick Maurer, our Director of Business Development, and he will be doing an introduction for both of our manufacturers. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Brianne. We're excited to be hosting this webinar today. We've done a couple of these over the last several months where had manufacturers join us and get to talk a little bit about their products and the relationships and different things that are going on in the market right now, and they worked out really well. As she said, the format's going to be, I'm going to lead off today's presentation with a little bit of information about the importance of having a strong manufacturer and builder relationship. It's critical more than ever today than in the past. You know, it's always important, but right now with everything going on in the market, those relationships go so much further than ever. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why that's so important, and then I'm going to turn it over to John and Kristen from Delta, and they're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in their world with trends and with bath and kitchens. And then we're going to turn it over to Kichler to do the same. At the end of the presentations from both manufacturers, we're going to have a little bit of a question and answer period there, where if you have any questions you want to ask, feel free. But I'm also going to bring up a couple of the key concerns we've been dealing with over the last several months, and have an opportunity for both Delta and Kichler to kind of respond to those. So again, look forward to today's webinar. I'm glad everybody that's here could attend. So starting off, benefits of maximizing your relationship with manufacturers. As I said, this isn't going to be a long presentation before we turn it over to Delta, but we can't talk to manufacturers without understanding why this is so important. We should be doing this all the time, not only in these webinars, but in face-to-face at our offices, conference calls, whatever it might be. Building those relationships, building those strong relationships are going to, one, give you better cost control. By nature, they're going to be able to work with you on what products are the best to put in your spec house, what options are best for upgrade pathways throughout your system. It's going to give you better control by working with them and understanding what products are out there. In turn, that's going to lead to higher profits, not only because you have better cost control, but because your option pathways are better. We talk about this all the time when we consult with builders, when we're doing seminars, about what's your upgrade pathway. How are we telling a buyer, here's your base faucet in the house, here's your base lighting package in the house, and then here's option A, B, and C upgrades. If we don't work with the manufacturers and know that we're putting in the right packages, then there's a good chance they could be in there and not sell or not be high profit margins. If we're working with them, we're going to put in products that buyers want, the trends that are hot in the market. That's the whole point of these conversations, is what's going to be the options that are going to sell the best. Better understanding of market trends. That's one of the key things we're going to talk about today. All of your manufacturers live and breathe this every day. We may understand our regions, our local area very well, but the manufacturers are going to understand what's going on globally, what's going on nationally, what's going on regionally. They're going to look at that as a big picture within that market that they're dealing, and be able to tell you what trends are coming on in line. We see it a lot in the East Coast, which is where I'm from, where products on the West start months or sometimes even years before the trend works its way across the country to the East Coast. Well, it's good to have that perspective. Talk to the manufacturer. What's hot in California? What's going to eventually make its way to Pennsylvania or to New York? So understanding the market trends is important. Faster warranty resolution. That's kind of a given. If we have a good relationship, then we're going to have a much better warranty resolution, because you're not going through all the levels of red tape where, when there's a problem, let's react to it. Let's try to find the right person to talk to. Let's look for what the solution is going to be. Instead, if you have that connection, you have that strong relationship, when there is a problem, you can reach right out to that person. They know what products you're using, where you're building, and it just makes the whole process faster. So you get faster warranty resolution. And finally, you also get faster response to unexpected issues. I mean, look at this year, COVID-19, material defects, whatever it might be. There's things that we just can't plan for. That having a strong manufacturer relationship is going to allow you to have a faster response time to those types of problems. These are only 5 items that I felt were extremely important items that, having the strong relationship with your manufacturer is going to help improve. But we could probably sit here and go through 20 of them if we wanted to. But the point is, make sure it's a priority, and you can really make a difference in the way you operate your company and the way you solve problems when they occur, especially in times like we're dealing with right now. A couple factors to these meetings when you're meeting with a manufacturer is you should know your product. As far as a builder goes, creating a strong manufacturer-builder relationship starts with controlling your specifications. Don't allow your trades to dictate product decisions or maintain the manufacturer relationship. Too often we hire plumbers or electricians or whoever it might be, and they tell us what plumbing fixtures we should use, what lighting fixtures we should use, or they want to control the relationship between their distributor and their manufacturer. By no means am I saying that your trades can't be part of the process, can't make recommendations, can't talk to the manufacturer or the distributor, but don't allow them to dictate it to you. Make sure you maintain the relationship directly, and understand what's going into your house. Purchasing should maintain a master specification sheet, and you should be specific. It's unbelievable how many builders we can talk to that don't have a detailed specification sheet, or as the last line here says, they use eliminate. We want to eliminate the or approved equivalent. It's we recommend this, but if we approve this or approved equivalent, be specific with what you want in the house, and then address issues as they occur. If a trade comes to you and says, I can't get this product or I make another recommendation, have that discussion, but don't give them the free reign to change out your products on you. An example of that, this is a snapshot from a specification sheet. This is a perfect example of something we go through when we consult with builders and we work with their purchasing department. You know, you see in this is just the electrical section. It was convenient. It has Kichler on here too. But you can see like on the service panel, it has 200 amp service by Siemens or approved equivalent. Remove the or approved equivalent. If you want the 200 amp service panel there by Siemens, that's what you should spec out. You know, the switches, Decora switches, white standard. That's great, but who's the manufacturer? Where's that switch coming from? You can be that specific. Now, a case that I thought was very good in this one was in the case the fixture package, Kichler. Now, for our Kichler reps here, you'll recognize that some of these are dated model numbers, but the point is still the same. It's very specific. What's the location it's going in? What's the model number? What's the color? In this case, it has the nickel finish. Very specific. There's no question of what's going where, what it's going to look like. And, you know, any changes from there have to be determined between a partnership between the trade, the manufacturer, and the builder. And then finally at the bottom, you see like where bath fans are. Standard fan light combo on a separate switch. Okay, but who's the manufacturer? Who's the model number? So this is the type of review we do a lot of times on specification sheets. And it's important as a builder, you know what's going into your home and you're specific and detailed. And finally, we talked about know your product, know your manufacturers. You know, we said the importance of this strong relationship. Start scheduling meetings with your reps. You know, once a month, have a meeting with a different rep. Have a set agenda and send it out in advance. Agendas are critical. You want to be productive at this meeting. If you're going to talk about some of the things that are listed here, you know, your manufacturer reps are extremely valuable in getting information such as upcoming product changes, what's selling and not selling, like we talked about earlier for your company, for locally, regionally, nationally, whatever it might be, proper upgrade paths. If you want to talk about those things and you want to be productive in your meeting, have a set agenda with those points on it and send it to your rep. In the past, I've worked with many builders that we've done this, and the reps will come in with all kinds of data, all kinds of percentages and details and graphs. It's amazing what they're looking at it all the time to understand what's selling and where it's selling. Make sure you send that out to them in advance, and you can have a very productive, very time-effective, efficient meeting. So make sure you work that in. It doesn't take too long to schedule those meetings and then have a set routine. Maybe even the first, if you haven't done it in a long time, the first couple of months, you have several of these. But really, once you get into a habit, it could be a monthly thing, you know, half an hour to an hour, and it's great to keep those relationships and keep the relationships strong. So, like I said, I wasn't gonna talk too long on that. I kept that to under 10 minutes there. But the point was, before we talk to any manufacturer, I think it's very important to understand that these relationships are so critical in our everyday business. And, you know, utilizing opportunities like these webinars are important, but outside of this, make sure you're building those connections, setting up those meetings, and talking to everybody to learn the best opportunities for your company and for that manufacturer. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to Delta and Kichler. We're going to start off with Delta, and it'll be John's going to start off here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so Kristen or John can pull up their presentation, and we'll get started here.
Hey, thank you very much. You know, you made a comment about making appointments with your representatives. You know, Delta Faucet Company sells its products through independent rep agencies, and those rep agencies are what we would call plumbing experts. So obviously they are experts on Delta Faucet Company, but they also will represent other plumbing products. And if you were to call them and ask them any general plumbing question, the chances are they're going to be able to answer it for you. So I'm John Carroll with Delta Faucet Company. And before I let Kristen Baum, our builder channel manager, lead you through a presentation that highlights our innovation, I'd like to say that if you are currently a Delta builder, thank you very, very much for your support. To those of you not yet with Delta, I ask that you give us a try. I'm sure that we'll be able to supply you with a product that both you and your home buyers will be happy with and pleased with. Kristen?
Thank you, John. I think I'm sharing, so I think we're good. Hello, everyone. I'm Kristen Baum, and I've already been introduced. Been with Delta Faucet Company now for 10 years, and excited to be here and present a little bit about who Delta Faucet Company is. I have roughly 10 to 15 minutes. So I had to be choosy with what content to share with you. So we'll start with just a little bit of background on who we are and what makes us a great partner. And then we'll cover a couple of key innovations that are not new to Delta Faucet, but are really foundational for our builder audience as well as our installer customers. So with that, I'll go ahead and get started. Just had a quick slide here on Masco since we're presenting today with our Kichler friends. We are, Delta Faucet Company is a part of Masco, which is a Fortune 500 company. Really comprised of a variety of brands, over 20 leading brands in plumbing as well as decorative architectural products. So we've been a part of Masco since we were founded, and happy to be presenting today with our friends, as I said, from Kichler. So Delta Faucet Company, who are we? I think we have to start with where we originated. So we were founded by Alex Manoogian, who was an Armenian immigrant who came to the US in 1921 at just 19 years old with $50 in his pocket. So a true entrepreneur at that time had no idea that he would eventually found a company that would release some of the most known brands in the industry, as well as be a part of a Fortune 500 384 on the list. So definitely had a hard work ethic. And we like to think that has continued through with our culture into today as well. You're seeing different images here of our headquarters in Indianapolis, as well as some of our manufacturing facilities. So when Delta Faucet Company started, our first plant was in Greensburg, Indiana, and is still operating today. That was built in 1958. And we've since expanded to additional locations. We do a lot of our injection molding, a lot of our multi-choice installation at our plant in Morgantown, Kentucky. And then we have bathing products in Lapeer, Michigan. And our largest facility down there on the bottom left is in Jackson, Tennessee. And that is where our central distribution center is, and all of our products are shipped out to our customers from that facility as well. So hopefully one day we can host you in person at Delta. We have an amazing facility at headquarters with an expansive showroom and a lot of different hands-on interactive training opportunities, but for now we'll do our best with virtual. So looking at Delta Faucet Company, we go to market with 3 different brands. And this is really to allow us to reach different audiences at different price points. So we'll start with the Peerless brand. Peerless is our opening price point brand, really targeted at those entry-level homes. And we've invested quite a bit in the Peerless brand in the recent years. And really, the quality of the product has always been there, but where we've been focused in rebranding Peerless is around affordable design. So hopefully you've noticed some of the Peerless designs. They're very popular, especially in multifamily properties as well. And then we have our Delta brand, which is our flagship brand, which stands for quality and relevant innovations, and just a plethora of styles for the mass market. And then we have our luxury brand, which is Brizo. And Brizo is really founded on creating those designs that are very distinctive and artfully crafted that really catch the eye of that luxury audience. So those are our 3 brands. Next, we'll just talk a little bit about kind of what sets us apart as a manufacturer. And I definitely think our brands is a big piece of that, which we touched on. And we do focus heavily on investing in all 3 brands, and each one has their own individual product marketing teams, engineering teams, as well as anybody at the plant as well that touches them are dedicated to those brands and the production of those. So definitely invest in our brands. The next pillar is service. So this is never more important than now, but really extends from our customer solutions to our delivery times, to our warranty, and to really our rep agencies that John mentioned, who are our feet on the street, managing our customer relationships on the day-to-day in their markets. The next important innovation that we live by, or the pillar that we live by, is innovation. And this is really in our DNA from our founder, Alex Manoogian, that I mentioned, who invented the single handle washerless faucet back in 1954. So it was a big deal at that time, but we've launched many very meaningful technologies since that time and within all of our brands. So we really do strive to create innovation that improves your experience with water and your day-to-day interactions with water, as well as the installation of our products. And the last key ingredient to our success is really our people. And I can say it's been a difficult year and a half working remotely, because it is definitely, I think, our secret recipe, the culture we have at Delta Faucet Company and the tenure that a lot of our employees have is pretty remarkable. And we really do put the customer first in a lot of things we do. A lot of our products and innovations, even designs, have been informed from doing a lot of research with our key trade customers. So that's just a little bit of background about Delta Faucet and what makes us a little special in our minds. We already touched on our rep agencies, so I won't spend a lot of time here, but we have 36 rep agencies across the country, and many of them have been with us for more than 25 years. And as John said, they're definitely plumbing experts. They can help get you parts, they can help provide answers, and they're there to service you guys on the trade side of our business. So really an extension of our sales team and our Delta family. All right, with that, I'm going to jump into a couple of foundational innovations that we definitely feel are directed at the builder audience. So the first one is our multi-choice universal valve. I have an electrician over right now, and I'm hoping that you all cannot hear him drilling, but I've been waiting 7 weeks for him to install something. So hopefully you can hear me. But our first innovation is multi-choice universal, and we're celebrating our 15-year anniversary of this innovative valve that really has changed the plumbing industry. So hopefully you might be familiar with this if you are a Delta builder, but I'll just give a quick overview of what makes multi-choice universal so innovative. So this one valve behind the wall is used by all 3 of our brands. And we also have multiple different cartridges that work within this one rough to give you different functionality, from pressure balance to thermostatic, as well as single function to dual function. We also, across our brands, have thousands of trim options that work with this one single valve. And then also the flexibility of the various connection types that are offered with this valve really give it unlimited possibilities for our customers. So this slide here just calls out a few unique things about the multi-choice valve. One of the patented items is our square plaster guard. Again, that feedback came directly from a plumber. Not many tiles are circular, so just made a lot of sense to make that plaster guard easier to cut that hole in the wall and match the shape of the tile. Our valve is also forged brass, so it's very durable and it's strong. A lot of other products are brass castings, which can get porous and cause leaks over time. So definitely a benefit of our valve being forged brass. There's also all of our options for the multi-choice universal come with and without stops, providing ease for shutting off the water and servicing the valve at the point of installation. And then extension kits are always available in case there's any error in how deep in the wall the valve is installed before the finished wall goes in. So that's just a little bit of the details about multi-choice. It is one valve, but all of them go by the R10000, but we do have variations of the multi-choice valve that we've iterated over time. So the prefab tub shower version is probably one of the newer options. And this is really to speed up installation for our builders and our installers. So the tub drop actually comes already brazed on, and so there's really nothing needed from the plumber except potentially cutting that horizontal pipe to the right length. So definitely improves speed of installation. We also have a prefab shower, as shower onlys are becoming more and more popular. This comes with the brazed on shower connection. Again, just speeding up installation. We also have a high flow version of our multi-choice universal, which comes without a tub port, if you can see that in the image. So there's no blocked tub port, it's actually removed, creating one less leak point, as well as providing for that higher flow. A lot of times people will use this for custom shower installations and or flip it over and do a tub only installation. And then our last version would be our integrated multi-choice valve with diverter. So this is relatively new to the market. I think it's been in market about 5 years. And this is a custom shower play, but really, again, eases installation because you just have one rough for both your shower valve and your diverter that you're installing versus two different roughs and trim in the wall, providing a simplified footprint and a more streamlined design, as well as a speedier installation. So those are different variations of the multi-choice valve. As I mentioned already, we also have 3 cartridges that are available that all work with this one valve. And so you can see here which brands across our family offer each individual cartridge. The kind of entry-level cartridge is our pressure balance, our single function pressure balance cartridge, which is offered on all 3 brands. And then we do have a dual function pressure balanced option in the middle, which is Delta brand only. And then our final step up would be the thermostatic dual function cartridge that's offered from Brizo and Delta. And I could go into a lot of detail on the differences in these cartridges. Just remember that dual function allows for temperature memory. So you actually have 2 different handles. One of them is setting the temperature so that each time you return to the shower, the temperature will be exactly where you left it previously. So that's a great added feature within the shower space. These slides are just touching on what I mentioned, which is just the plethora of options and styles you have. A lot of projects we work on, if it's not single family residential, you may need, from a budget standpoint, if you have that valve in the wall, you can always accommodate different price points, different styles, different finishes with this one rough. And the same goes for our integrated valve as well, which is only available on the Brizo and Delta brands, again, since that's more of a custom shower install. So I'm going to keep moving because I think I'm about at my 15 minutes. But the next technology that I wanted to talk about is diamond seal technology. And we call this DST because we're lazy and it's just a lot easier to say. So if you hear me say that, that's what that is. But this is really another foundational innovation for Delta Faucet Company. And we utilize it across pretty much all of our kitchen products for the Delta and Brizo brands, as well as many, many lavatory products, whether they be single handle or 2-handle. And what's really unique about diamond seal technology, there's really 2 key pieces to this technology. One is the diamond coated valve. So in the top right-hand corner, it kind of looks like a smiley face. But you can see that with the diamond coated valve, what we're able to do is reduce the need to use a lubricant with the 2 ceramic discs. So you actually don't get that sticking of the handle or the operation of the handle over time as that lubricant wears out. Due to the diamond coating that's on that disc, it eliminates the need for that lubricant, which really provides for a longer lasting product, as well as an easier to use product as well. And then the second piece of this technology is our Inaflex PEC-C supply lines. So this comes all as one assembly, reducing many leak points when you're installing the faucet. It's a 32-inch water lines so that you can connect them all the way to the stops, avoiding the need for copper, which can kink or corrode over time, just making that assembly or that installation of the faucet that much easier and that much leak-free as well. And so really this technology, as I said, is foundational to the Delta brand. We've probably tested it more than any other product on the market that we sell. And we're happy to say, we test all our products to industry standards, but this product specifically lasts 2 times longer than the industry standard. So if we were at headquarters, you could see our life cycle machines just turning the handle on and off up to 1 million cycles, which is really, really impressive. So just another great technology from Delta Faucet Company. And now I just have a couple quick slides. As we're all familiar with the world we live in today, I just wanted to highlight some of the clean products that Delta Faucet Company offers through our great innovations. As I mentioned, innovation is a part of our DNA. So we are working on a new campaign launching soon, just to really highlight the history of innovation that Delta Faucet Company has had and how it can help you lead a clean, healthy, safe life. So I know a lot of homeowners, some of our builders are going to more technology in the home, which has been great because it does provide that hands-free or touchless experience. So we're definitely a brand you can think of when you're trying to accommodate that need for your homeowners. We have an extensive portfolio of voice, hands-free, and sensor faucets. And these are just a few of the technologies that we will be featuring in the campaign that help provide that clean forward option for your customers and clients. So with that, I am going to stop sharing, I believe.
Well, actually, Kristen, if you have a second, Eric from Kichler will be jumping on in a couple minutes.
Okay.
So you actually have a few more minutes if we want to dive into a couple of the questions that I would have asked later.
Okay.
Would be, as far as popular colors or finishes or styles that you're seeing in the market right now, that type of thing, or if you want to dive a little bit more into some of this detail, you do have a few more minutes. So I didn't want you to feel rushed.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I can't see the chat. So from a design and style perspective and finish perspective, we're definitely seeing, I think this will probably come as no surprise, like cleaner, like traditional is becoming much more subdued. It's less about a lot of detail, more subtle detail, a lot cleaner lines. And on the modern end of the spectrum, it's softening a bit. We're not seeing the stark geometric shapes. Most things modern still are going towards the more casual end of the spectrum. So really transitional design, or we call it casual, is where a lot of the volume is coming from. I think people are gravitating towards that middle ground from a style perspective. And definitely the different use of materials or textures on our faucets has become more popular in recent years. People want the tactile touch when they're using our products. And I think just all of us, from being in this digital age, appreciate a little bit of that authentic added touch of texture. And also from a finish perspective, just lots of growth, no surprise in matte black, as well as the gold finishes. So whether that be most of the time more the brushed or unlacquered gold finishes, but matte black is still very, very strong, and that really goes across all price points as well as segments of our business. So hopefully that helped answer that question.
Great, thank you very much. I appreciate it, Kristen and John. And like I said, we'll come back at the end. I'll see here if I see Ben on the line. Is Ben or Eric, are you able to pull up a presentation? Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. Hopefully you guys can hear and see me okay. Ben, I heard you. Kristen, we haven't met, but great to meet you from my other Masco units. I wish I would have saw the rest of your presentation, but good to be with you all. You guys can hear me okay?
Absolutely, you're coming through good. So if you want to share your presentation, you can go through, and we'll pick up some questions and answers afterwards.
Sounds good. Ben, I'll let you tee it up if needed, and then I'll get this thing going. All right.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for being patient with us here. Today we have Eric, who is a product manager for Kichler Lighting. My name is Ben Stewart. I'm actually a national account manager for Builder. So today we are just going to kind of go over a few trends and displays overview of kind of the latest and greatest that we're seeing in kind of the decorative showroom applications. So I believe that we're going to have some questions later on in the once Eric completes his presentation. But with no further ado, Eric, take it away.
Great, thanks, Ben. I just got a warning, my internet is unstable, so am I still coming through okay?
Yep, I'm seeing it okay so far.
Great, okay. I'll just, Ben, or one of you guys can jump on video and just give me a thumbs down if things look bad. Anyway, thanks for the intro, Ben. Great to be with you all. Into my guest bedroom / office. We're all back at home, but looking forward to being closer. But anyway, happy to be with you. I'm going to take you through some of the high-level trends that we're tracking on the decorative lighting side. As Ben might have mentioned, I lead our decorative category within Kichler. We have multiple categories: fans, landscape, and other applications. But I'm specifically focused on the decorative side, which essentially covers interior, exterior, bath across a multitude of price points and styles. So without further ado, I'll keep an eye on time too. I think, Ben, you mentioned 15, 20 minutes, so I think we'll get there and deeper as you guys wish as well. So we'll start with, I know you ended off just the last one with Kristen around some of the finishes that we're seeing trending in various spaces. So I'll take you through the three categories that we track, interior being first. What you're seeing is our best-selling finishes. Clearly, black is one that's very much on the rise. We've seen significant growth year over year. Black in particular has taken, as well as brass. Top three, I guess, year over year for us: black, brass finishes. A high growth in terms of combining finishes, whether it's black and brass and brush. Just a great kind of collection of new finishes, but no surprise that black is kind of leading the way. Some others that we know are very much traditional to the interior space, your nickels, brushed, polished. Classic pewter is kind of a mid-tone for us. Those are all still present, but clearly what's been taken off year over year is black and brass, and I think that's probably to no one's surprise. Bronze is probably the finish that's taken a hit. Black, as you've probably seen, is the new bronze in a lot of spaces. Although, what I would say, I don't know from Kristen's perspective, but we see bronze coming back in some way. It's probably different than what it was, so that's something we're watching. But all in all, is a clear winner in terms of what in the interior space. Some things moving ahead. We know what in the plumbing fixture space. Gold is certainly brighter than brass, so that's something we're watching. We're seeing more whites in some of the interior spaces, but all in all, black and brass is kind of winning the day in terms of interior finishes for lighting. Bath, the story doesn't change dramatically. I will say there's probably even greater growth in the bath space in black. I think what you see is people are more willing to mix finishes, of course. So whereas they may not be willing to go all in on black everywhere, a black finish on a light is something that's easy for most, and it of course coordinates with a multitude of finishes too. So again, black certainly leading the way in bath. All the other finishes, I would say, brass has been stable. We've seen some growth year over year, but not as much as we have in the interior space. Again, some of the other core finishes in bath, as you would expect, polished nickel, chrome, relatively stable year over year to flat. But what I would say is, again, black, even more so in bath, is leading the way. And we're seeing this across a number of different styles. So whether we're talking updated, traditional, modern, Black, silver plays a role in both of those. I would say we're starting to introduce and play with more mixed finishes. I think bath being a much more kind of confined space, we know the role that lighting plays. So I think the kind of trend where people are more willing to mix finishes, I think we're careful to walk the line on how many different finishes you would put on a single light, whereas you may choose to start to mix finishes across plumbing, hardware, lighting, etc. On the exterior, again, there's a set of core finishes that we typically see. I just got a warning, my internet is unstable, so hopefully it holds on for you guys. But again, if there's a trend across the board that we're seeing interior, exterior bath, again, black is the clear winner. Mixed finishes, again, we're seeing a bit more on the outside. So combination of silver tones and black. We're seeing a bit more in tones with bronze and black. But again, that tends to be kind of a chameleon. It can be used across multiple styles. We know architectural styles are a bit slower to change versus the inside. So finishes tend to be a bit more limited and specific. Again, I think black is certainly winning the day. Some of the more traditional finishes, these are specific to us. We call this architectural bronze. Londonderry is kind of in the bronze tone. Old bronze, of course, as well. So those, if anything, are flat to trending down, with some of the darker gunmetal. Iron is a textural finish, just lighter than black, but those have been up for us as well. A couple of things we're looking ahead and keep an eye on. Some more bold colors, so introduction of color in the outdoor space. Again, we know that's very architecturally or outside dependent. More mixed finishes, and then how we might incorporate some natural materials or a faux finish to mimic a natural material that would withstand the outside elements there too. Any questions on finishes? Jump to more of the fixture and lifestyle trend we're watching.
I haven't seen anything pop up yet, so yeah, if you want to keep going along, we'll ask some more questions at the end here.
Great, sounds. In terms of fixture trends, a couple things that we know is true on the inside. People are curating collections, whether it's mainly across different styles. Same is true in lighting. So they're mixing modern lights with more traditional, updated traditional, with industrial. Everyone's looking to kind of create their own personalized, unique aesthetic. So that's something that, of course, I think is true on the inside, and it's true in lighting as well. In terms of pure fixtures and the types that we're seeing growth in, linear chandelier really taken off. So it'd be that middle image at the top. So whether it's used over dining tables or over kitchen islands, just a great way to kind of, spread out the light, but also feel a bit more modern, in that it's more of a linear, of course, design or platform versus what would be more traditionally around. Foyer pendants, again, that would be kind of top left. That one in particular is much more traditional in nature, but generally speaking, we're seeing the scale of all of these grow. So whether it's in the foyer space or above a kitchen island, larger fixtures have really kind of. And then decorative sconces, kind of bottom left. I think it's rare that you'll see, kitchens and or bath spaces with two separate individual sconces to flank the mirror. It's also a really easy way to add light where you may not have it, or something where you may want to add a decorative touch to a space that didn't have it before. So options like that you can easily pin up or hardwire in have really taken off this past year. But part of the reason being that we've all been at home and may need the light spaces that didn't need it before. But it's certainly a platform we've seen really jump in the last year plus. And then I would say exterior, we've all kind of seen the general kind of RLM trend. I'd say LED adoption has been a bit faster on the outside. And then I would say, again, the scale of the fixtures have only gotten larger on the outside as well. I'll jump to a few of the lifestyle trends that we're watching. So one, we referred this to a few different ways. I'll call this retro revisited. We probably all call this a number of different things, but what I would say is this is just the new take on traditional. We know traditional's kind of evolved to by multiple different centuries or influences. Today, Art Deco is really kind of taking center stage. So a lot of fluted forms, ribbed glass, typically warmer tones, gold and brass, this kind of repeated motif. You'll see this across a lot of interiors. We know we've seen this kind of on the rise in soft goods, interior furniture, and now very much so in lighting. We just recently launched a collection this past January that definitely leans into this trend. Again, this is just kind of a snapshot of the way we kind of view this. So as I said, a new take on traditional, which is kind of looking at a mix of decades. But as I said, Art Deco is really kind of taking center stage at the moment. Just the lifestyle details with these interlaced patterns. It always feels more refined and cosmopolitan, excuse me. And then in terms of finishes, I mentioned gold, ribbed glass, hints of crystal, but of course not everyone's ready to go all in on crystal, which feels very much traditional. And then I think one of the more interesting pieces in lighting is when you brushed and polished together, it really gives a great effect in terms of something that we haven't seen in the past. Next one, this is 2 of 3, just to, if you guys are curious on time, we can keep going as needed. But Luxe Industrial, again, we've all kind of seen the very much industrial spaces, but in terms of what this is really kind of the next evolution. It was originally very much kind of worn and vintage. This is the next step, which pushes industrial to be far more refined and honestly a lot more versatile, that works with a range of interior styles. Whether it's traditional or even modern, industrial blur the lines between those two. Details behind this one, there's always an emphasis on character, whether it's through a textured finish or kind of these more exposed fittings. That all really kind of leads into the construction of the light. And then material and finish, of course, black plays a big role here. Brass tones. Often you'll see some unique glass types. But really mixed finishes where you're kind of highlighting some of these exposed fittings is a big part of what this Luxe Industrial feel is all about. And then last one, I think Kristen was talking about this a bit as well. Modern is a very general term. We know that mid-century modern was very much of the moment, has not gone away. It's continued to evolve, but I would say, generally speaking, what we're seeing in this kind of overarching modern theme is that, of course, mid-century is very much present, but modern is getting softer. So you're seeing this mix of contemporary silhouettes with old meets new that makes modern feel a bit more livable. So if anything, it's feeling softer. It's taking influence from Scandinavian, minimalist, but also mid-century. So it's a bit of a mashup, but ultimately feels far more softer than modern has felt in the past. Generally speaking, very much clean, but a bit softer. There's more organic forms and just feels evolved. And in terms of material and finish, black, matte black is very much a big part of this lifestyle. Again, it can kind of work across a multitude of different interior spaces. And then woods, in terms of lighting, we offer and kind of key in on a few different faux wood finishes, but I would say with this one in particular, as woods have become, particularly with Scandinavian style, it's very much more natural. So we offer a few select pieces that actually have real wood components, which I think is the most important when we talk about Scandinavian and natural wood. That's a hard thing to replicate wood finish. So that's something we're watching too. I'll stop there before I get in any product, and hopefully open up for any questions. And hopefully my internet connection stayed good enough for that to come through. So
No, everything was great.
How'd it go, Rick?
It worked perfect. There's a couple little staggers there, but your connection held, so it's good.
Great.
But first of all, I want to thank everybody, from Delta and Kichler for presenting today. I think it was great information, really timely to understand what's going on in the market, what's going on with the trends. So I really appreciate it. And before we open it up to any general questions that anybody might have, I'd like to just ask a question to both companies, and you can chime in, whoever wants to go first. But I think the most pressing issue we're seeing a lot in the market right now is everything that's COVID related, right? You hear constantly about product shortages or issues getting materials in A1, pricing changing, they're pain points. So just from a general comment, what are you guys seeing from both of your manufacturers, and what are some things you're doing to help builders alleviate the pressures from being able to get material, schedule issues, that type of thing?
Well, Rick, look, thank you for bringing that up. It's a big topic around the whole industry, not just with faucets and I'm sure lighting. We go to market through, we sell to independent wholesalers, and then the independent wholesalers will then provide the plumber with the product that they ordered. So there's a lot of people that touch the product before the builder actually installs it. And we ask our builders to please get their orders to their plumbers as soon as possible. And then we ask that the plumbers get their orders to their wholesalers as soon as possible. And then the wholesalers